Hey folks, welcome back to Rye Guy Plays Games, where we fully transitioned to a drama channel, and I'm definitely not just doing this for the meme. Today I'm going to be making a video reacting to Sir Heroscape's video, reacting to TableTop Bros. Come on, get it together. This is a serious video. This is a serious video. This is a serious channel. Come on. Where he covers a scandal that's been brewing for Renegade, the company behind Heroscape's upcoming relaunch this year. For a brief lore recap here, a troubling anonymous post popped up on Reddit about 10 days ago detailing some very sketchy things that have been going on behind the scenes at Renegade. Now, full legal disclaimer, this is all hearsay and nothing has been proven, so Renegade, if you're watching, please don't sue me. There's already been a lot of content and discussion on this topic, but what makes this video stand out is that it's uploaded on my channel at a later date. Let's get into it.
This morning, someone on Reddit exposed them for doing some pretty shady shit. Someone posted on the Heroscape subreddit this morning a bit of a leak about the playtesting process.
A bit of a leak? This hits hard, and the Heroscapers Discord has been talking about this practically non-stop since it dropped.
But I actually talked to TableTop Bro, and he meant the thing he just mentioned there was that throughout the day he's had contact with people involved in the playtesting. And he confirmed with me as well that he's been in contact with people who have been part of playtesting.
None of this has actually been confirmed by anyone or Renegade themselves. It's been a lot of hearsay. I will point out that TableTop Bro says in his actual video that,
and over the course of the day, multiple people who've been in contact with various playtesters can affirm that this is pretty accurate.
So not in contact with playtesters themselves, but he's in contact with people who have been in contact with playtesters who know something about the process. It's an important distinction in this game of telephone. With that said, let's get into these allegations.
Regarding backwards compatibility. The Heroscape units that Renegade is currently developing are backwards compatible as they use the same rule set. Renegade is or was not playtesting with any classic Heroscape, and balancing new units with classic units is not something they care about.
So Renegade has stated publicly multiple times that the game was always intended to be fully backwards compatible with classic Heroscape. Now in my mind, that always meant that the figures would be balanced as well. If the new figures are completely broken with classic Heroscape, or if they're so bad that they're unplayable, then that's not really backwards compatible. But technically,
they've already confirmed it's going to be backwards compatible. So technically you can play Heroscape with other Heroscape. They've confirmed that. But if you don't make it synergistic at all, if you make it completely disconnected in terms of balance, then what he was saying is that basically invalidates everyone else's collection.
Exactly. I don't want all of this to become useless in 2 months because the new set is so powerful. Now you might be asking, Ryga, you made a whole tier list of the publicly released Age of Annihilation designs last year and none of those were broken. And you'd be correct. Except
most, if not all, of the designs that Avalon Hill and the AOA War Council worked on have been scrapped or gone through massive redesigns. Don't assume that the cards we will see will look like the ones Avalon Hill showed us if Renegade stays on this trajectory. Developing 70 plus units in this period of time is a big ask from an experienced designer, and the new team does not have experienced Heroscape designers.
What? Why? So the designs were allegedly scrapped in the most baffling corporate decision since the Louisiana Purchase. That's like if a team of like 10 experienced chefs cooked a 5-course meal for you over the course of 10 hours, and then you come in and you're like, get out of here, I know what I'm doing, and you make burnt scrambled eggs because you're not a good cook and you only have 5 minutes before your guests show up. Get out of here, Gordon, I know what I'm doing, not you.
If I were a member of Renegade as a designer, I would not want to kill myself over trying to design for a game I didn't understand or I had limited knowledge of competitively and balance-wise, within a few months. Like, I would, if someone had done the work for over a year, a team of like 10 people that had playtested, designed these units, synergized these units for over a year, I would not want to be the designer or the playtester or the member of the Renegade team that has to redesign everything.
Same. Unless, you don't actually have that much experience and you just want this game to be your own. But you don't have to be that experienced of a designer, right? Just get a bunch of playtesters who know what they're doing.
When selecting playtesters, familiarity with Heroscape was not important. Playtesters were selected based on their familiarity with games Lee and Rowan previously worked on.
When you have one designer, one lead designer, and one lead producer, you're going to be stuck in a silo, right? You have to bring on a big old team like the War Council with multiple people familiar with the game competitively, specifically who have designed for the game, to really get a sense of what you need to do.
Now, I can't fault them for pulling from playtesters that they have a working relationship. I think that absolutely makes sense. But it does seem intentional that they wouldn't pull from the War Council, especially when you're going to make them playtest like 100 new designs. You also might not want experienced playtesters playtesting your designs if you yourself are not that experienced with Heroscape design. Speaking of that,
clashing with playtesters. After playtesters were selected, they were given freedom to construct their own playtesting group. One group contained or invited members who had worked on every major customs project in the Heroscape community. The makeup of this group changed several times. Why? Experienced designers / players jumped in, saw the quality of the designs Renegade had produced, realized their feedback wasn't being received, and left. This group was later dismissed from playtesting entirely and told that their constructive criticism was abusive. Another group had a member, or members, of the AOA War Council present, but they also jumped ship after their feedback wasn't received.
I sincerely hope this isn't true. This is the wildest claim, by far. I want to support Renegade, I really do. But if this is true, this is insane. I've designed several customs in the past. One of them I even recently submitted to the Soldiers of Valhalla, which is a community-sourced customs project. Now, am I the best designer in the world? Yes. Because I understand my flaws as a designer, and I understand that there are people out there who have way more knowledge about Heroscape than I will ever have. I practically begged people in the community to give me feedback on that custom, because I understand the value in feedback, especially constructive criticism, and the unit only got better for it. Unfortunately, it seems Renegade doesn't necessarily value feedback in the same way that I do. And I know I made a big disclaimer about these, but unfortunately, a lot of people have said that this would track with their experience both with Renegade playtesting outside of this and with playtesters that they've been in contact with.
People in the Heroscapers group have been in contact with some of these playtesters, and everyone says that nothing was abusive, it was just constructive criticism. They didn't like the way that the game was going. Apparently that is considered abusive if these allegations are to be believed, which there are a lot of people saying they should be.
That's weird. That's bizarre. That's very toxic. That seems very odd to me.
Odd is one way to put it. I'd use stronger words. Pathetic, slimy, true Ucker behavior. But hey, as long as Heroscape turns out fun and exciting, it'll be worth it, right?
Playtesters I've spoken to have described the in-process designs as troubling, amateur, and garbage.
It'll be worth it, right? It'll be worth it, right? It'll be worth it, right?
New designers will design like they're conversating with someone, like they're explaining how an ability works, like they want to make sure you understand exactly how it operates. The problem with that is that Heroscape has an established language, it has an established keywords, it has established abilities and how we word abilities.
So we have an experienced design lead bringing on playtesters who have very little experience with Heroscape and refuse to listen to community figureheads, which have since quit the project from their disgust with the project, which is unbalanced and amateurish. This product appeals to no one currently, and the product will only succeed if it does because they're hiding their sins behind the Heroscape logo. Now, the content of the post hasn't been the only drama. The Reddit post that was posted on Reddit Reddit post that was posted on Reddit.
The poison for Cusco. The poison chosen specially to kill Cusco. Cusco's poison.
Was taken down within 2 hours after posting, and a follow-up Facebook post was taken down almost immediately, and there was a lot of outcry about that.
But the whole discourse has been weird, especially the people who've been saying, don't escalate this, don't make a video on this, don't spread it around because it might antagonize Renegade and then they'll do something bad. Like, I don't understand that line of thinking in the slightest.
I'll clear this up because this dialogue has been bothering me. This is going to be my most controversial opinion in this video, so hold on, dear sippy cups. Renegade didn't take these posts down. These were community members who have been thanklessly moderating our discussion spaces for years. A lot of these community members also have connections to playtesters, who are not allowed to talk about this because of their NDA. We don't have all the pieces, and I think it's pretty foolish to assume that this won't have consequences for all the playtesters that Renegade has already been managing poorly. To be fair, I think it's good that it's out there, not because I think this will change anything, but because I think it's good that people start tempering their expectations early. I've never trusted Renegade because I had no reason to, especially after the HasLab scandal. I made this meme pretty much immediately after Renegade announced that they were relaunching Heroscape, because I'll believe it when I see it. And I don't trust Renegade to do the right thing here. They've had months and months to get their operations in order, and they've essentially wasted it just making everything worse. And now it's been 10 days since this post leaked, and they have shown zero intention of making a follow-up statement or something to clear up the situation.
You know, they're trying to make money, right? So it's a business. They don't have to tell us, right? They can just say, we're going to do our thing and we're going to make our money.
I'm with Sir Heroscape. They haven't interacted with the community at all outside of asinine, meaningless conversations. I don't think Renegade will ever mention this, besides the empty platitudes we got from their lead developer on the Heroscapers Discord.
So, what do you do about it? Well, from a very baseline perspective, Renegade has already told us they're not reprinting OG Heroscape. They're not. So it's still going to be rare. It's still going to be very difficult to gain, especially for new players. The designs have been redesigned. Now, it makes sense based off of my, what we call it, hypothesis. It makes sense that they would gut the designs. That they would say, hey, we got 70 designs from Avalon Hill, but they're all backwards compatible, and they all synergize with old stuff. Do you remember a few of those, abilities? What's the bear guy that bonds with Death Chasers? Makes them super strong. The dwarf that bonds with the dwarves. I mean, they're best with the old original Heroscape units.
This is just wrong. It doesn't make sense. And this is the decision that has been stopping the community for the last couple of days. The original Age of Annihilation designs worked seamlessly with classic Heroscape, designs that new players were never going to get their hands on. But they were also a great self-contained game. You had the Cozy Critters faction, the Wonderful Wizards faction, the Bloodthirsty Bugs faction, the Powerful Pirates faction, the Contemporary Kiri faction, and the list goes on. These units had fun, interesting synergy with and against each other, both self-contained and in larger Heroscape as a whole. That's the perfect scenario, and it avoided the biggest fear from tournament directors like myself, where new players won't have to feel like they need to get the old stuff because the new stuff works just fine. But also, the old players don't feel like their collection is made totally obsolete by the new stuff. It's an impossible balance to strike, but Craig Van Nessing and the Avalon Hill team wrote a love letter to Heroscape 13 years later and nailed it. And now we've lost that, allegedly, and we're heading towards one of the two worst outcomes, which no doubt expires the game a year or two after Renegade can't make money from it. So if I don't think anything will change, and I don't have hope for Renescape, why did I even bother making this video? I'll let Sir Heroscape explain that one.
Which, if that's the case, then we really have to call out Renegade for what it is. Being stupid.
Renegade is being stupid, and I think the more people that know about it, the better. But they're not just being stupid. They're also being manipulative, shady, immature, and insensitive to the game of Heroscape that is beloved by so many. And the relaunch of the game, a supposed celebration of the greatest game ever made, is approaching while Renegade kills it behind closed doors. If even half this stuff is true, I won't be buying Heroscape this year. And you know what the worst part about this is? I would be willing to turn a blind eye to the treatment of their volunteer playtesters. I would. I'll admit it. It's not great, but I would. I have an Amazon account. I watch Disney movies. I've been supporting shitty companies for years because I like their products, and I probably won't stop anytime soon. I've seen comments since this news broke saying they don't care what happens, they don't care what's true. They're buying Heroscape no matter what. But if the game itself is bad, I'll be offended that they disgraced Heroscape by putting the logo on their microwave box of crap. In my mind, that's not Heroscape. There are tons of community projects that I support and love, enough content to keep me going for years. To me, that's real Heroscape, and if you are so starved for new Heroscape content that you would take a slap to the face if Renegade told you it was Escape, then I implore you to delve into these projects. After all, as we Heroscape fans are fond of saying, the community doesn't need Renegade. Renegade needs the community.